of the love that I was due. This is true. You remind me. Y'all are catching me vibing. She's a girl that loves the music. Hey y'all, and welcome back. It is your girl Abiola Akani. I am the founder of the EOL Yoga and Embodiment School. I'm a yoga teacher trainer as well as a embodiment coach. I support high achieving and high performing career women, other coaches, service providers, and professionals with recovery, nervous system regulation, and embodied leadership in order to receive more and perform less. And you're joining me for our 30-day Sensual Yoga Challenge to help you slow down and get in your body. So for today, I'm excited because our practice is a sensual yoga flow for body confidence. I have a lot of clients who I work with one-on-one. Definitely message me in my DMs if you'd like to work together with me one-on-one. But I have a lot of clients who are constantly in high performing or in really elite positions within their corporate career, but they lack a lot of confidence within their body. And that really just comes down to being disconnected or disembodied. So one of the ways that you can cultivate more confidence is to spend more time being present in your body in a way that supports and activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest center, so you actually feel safer in your body. When it comes to embodying more confidence, being present in the body and feeling safe in the body are the two pillars that are non-negotiables when it comes to really staying present in your body or embodying more confidence. You gotta be present and you have to feel safe, which is what we're gonna explore today on our mat. Now, before we get started with today's practice, there's one thing I want you to do first, and that is to slow down right now, pause this video, and click the link below in my bio to register for my free masterclass on how to become a high value woman. Now, the reason why that's so important is because I imagine if you're a high achieving career woman or a high achieving career woman, one of the things you constantly deal with is a lot of burnout and over giving, where you're constantly doing for others and feeling like no one's really servicing or supporting you at that same level. So what needs to happen in order for you to finally feel like you're receiving the support that you desire is you have to begin to shift your identity and really start to show up as a high value woman who is seen, served, and supported at the level in which you desire. So that's what we're gonna be doing in this masterclass to support you in becoming the pampered high value queen that I know you've always seen yourself as. So make sure to click the link and register for that below. We're gonna be doing that on July 23rd. Once you do that, I'll see you right back here on the mat in a hot second. All right, y'all, welcome back. We're starting right at the top of our mat. You'll notice that I have two blocks, yoga blocks scattered around. I just like to keep them for safety. If you know that you prefer to have blocks within your practice, I invite you to grab them. There might be at some point in this practice where you might want to use them. I just like to have mine nearby. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can also use two books or two soup cans or two shoe boxes that are roughly the same size. Once you grab those, you can meet me right back here at the top of the mat. You're gonna find your feet in about a hip width distance. Keep a nice micro bend in the knees, draw the hands to the womb, and we'll start with some breathing here. Find a fluid inhale in through the nostrils. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. This time, inhale through the nostrils for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils as if you're fogging a window for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nostrils for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nostrils for 1, 2, 3. Audible exhale out of the nostrils for 3, 2, 1. Settling here, inhale, circle sweep the hands up and over. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Draw the hands together in a fist. Release the index finger. Extend the hand straight back up to the heavens. Peek your head through the window of the forearms. Deep inhale here. Exhale, find a lateral side bend to the left. Keep the belly engaged and pull the tailbone down. Inhale, glide you to center. Exhale, lateral side bend to the right. Inhale, brings you back to center. Exhale, lateral side bend to the left. This time, find a micro bend in the knees and then circle your way all the way down, coming into a forward fold. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the head and the neck, and then bring it up through the opposite side, keeping your side body, your obliques engaged. Inhale brings you back to center. Exhale, lateral side bend to the opposite side. Really just opening up through the back, the side body ribs, the diaphragm. Inhale, circle it through the opposite side. Keep that bend in the knees, and then keep your right obliques, your right side body engaged to bring it back up. Inhale here, exhale, cactus the arms, open up the chest. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Drape the body all the way down, but keep a bend in the knees, a micro bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shin. Now from here, I want you to find a nice flat back. So extend the heart up, extend the tailbone back, heart coming forward. Inhale here. And then on the exhale, I just want you to find a little wiggle through the glutes. Just coming back to that wiggle, 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 wiggle. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Just releasing, finding a Shakti shake through the glutes, through the belly, through the womb. Inhale, micro bend the knees, circle sweep the hands up and over. Exhale, Anjali Mudra and Tadasana. So we're gonna find that I used to do this in trap vinyasa. If you've been practicing with me for a long time, you know I created a hip-hop based yoga practice called trap vinyasa. You can find it somewhere on my channel, but we always used to do that Shakti shake, and you're gonna see me sprinkle that in throughout this practice. What we're doing is we are utilizing shaking movements specifically throughout your groin and your womb to just like release a lot of stagnant energy, like especially if you find that you're really stagnant in the body or really kind of stiff in your body. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Step it back, find your high plank. I want you to hold your high plank here for 3. Hold for 2. And for 1, this time inhale, shift forward on the toes. Let's lower for 3. Hug the elbows in for 2. Chin, chest, and womb kiss the mat for 1. Untuck your toes. Root the fronts of the feet into the earth. Engage the belly. Inhale, cobra pose, little to no weight in your hands. Hands actually float off of the earth. Exhale, chin kisses the mat. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. If the hamstrings are really tight, option to root your blocks underneath your hands, and that's just going to bring the earth to you and create some space in your hamstrings. Inhale here. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. Inhale, left knee comes high. Exhale, lunge. Step it through. Inhale, stack the hands on the knees, push the weight into your left knee, and then hands come high. Find 11-11 through the arms. Pull the tailbone down, crush the mat with your left foot, and feel your left glute turn on. Deep inhale here, exhale, hands come to heart center. We're gonna find a little balance. Inhale, hands straight, comes back up. Keep the hands in that fist, release that index finger. Deep inhale here, lateral side bend to the left. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, lateral side bend to the left. Inhale, bring it back to center. One more. Inhale here, lateral side bend on the left on the exhale. Inhale, bring it back to center. Inhale here. Exhale, shift forward. Lower the hands to your blocks and just lengthen out your left knee. Hold here for a breath. Keep the right toes rooted, right heel lifted, getting into the hamstrings. If the hamstrings are really taut, option to bring your blocks up on a higher level. Holding here, shifting the hips forward. So try not to run out of the posture by extending the hips to the left. Invite your right hip bone forward. Hold here for a breath. You can always micro bend the knees. One more breath here. On the next inhalation, bend that left knee. Exhale, step the right leg forward to meet its sibling. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins. Lifting up your heart, extend the tailbone back, heart comes forward, and find that wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. I love that. Inhale, halfway lift once again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep, hands up and over. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Into Tadasana. Hands come down alongside the body. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, fold. Step it back, high plank, holding in your high plank. Once you get there for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, shifts you forward. Exhale, we're lowering for 3. Hug those elbows in for 2. Chin, chest, and groin. Kiss the mat for 1. Untuck the toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Little to no weight in those hands. You're lifting the hands off of the earth. Exhale, chin kisses the mat. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. Inhale here. Exhale out of the mouth, Uche. Inhale, right leg comes high. Exhale, lunge, step it through. Inhaling here, interlace the hands onto the right knee, push into the knee, and lift the torso up. Once you find balance, find 11-11 through the arms. Coming into your lunge here. Bending into your front right knee. Crush the mat with your right foot to turn this right glute on. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Hands come into a fist. Release the index finger. Press the hands up. Peek the head through the window of the forearms. Deep inhale here. Find balance through your belly. So pull the belly button up and in. Crush the mat with your right foot. Exhale, lateral side bend to the right. Inhale. Bring it back to center. Exhale, lateral side bend to the right. Inhale, brings you back to center. Exhale, lateral side bend to the right. Inhale, brings you back to center. Exhale, shifts you forward and lower the hand down to your blocks or to the earth. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen out that right leg. Invite both hip bones forward. Keeping the back of the neck long, heart comes forward. Deep inhale here. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, bending the knee.
Step your left foot forward to meet its sibling. Find your feet about hip-width distance. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Extend the tailbone back, heart and head lift. Hands come to heart center and find that wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, micro bend the knees, protect the low back, and circle sweep the hands up and over. Hands come high. Exhale, draw the hands back to heart center. And Tadasana. Settling here. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, fold. Step it back, find your high plank. Inhale, shift forward. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, lower for 3, for 2, for 1. Untuck the toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Little to no weight in the hands. Exhale, chin kisses the mat. Inhale, tabletop. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Deep inhale here. Exhale out of the mouth, HA. Inhale, left leg comes high. Exhale, lunge, step it through. Drop your right heel down. Windmill the arms up and around. Find your warrior 2. Bend into the knee. Exhale, hands come out, hands come to the womb. Inhale, bend into the knee. Exhale, float your way out. Keep the hands on the womb. Inhale, bend into the knee. This time, hold. Bring your right hand to the womb, left hand to the sacrum. Pull the tailbone down. Feel the womb grow in your right hand. And try to keep that pelvis neutral based on that adjustment. Bend into your left knee and then extend the arms wide. Find your warrior 2. Inhale, exalt, right hand to the back of the thigh, left hand comes high. Deep inhale here, exhale, just lengthen out your left leg. Breathe into your left side body. Inhale, both hands come high. Exhale, pivot your left toe in. Star pose, arms open wide. Bring the hands to the thigh and drag the hand slowly down the legs. Right? Pivot the toes in. Opening up through the hamstrings. And then just as slowly as you descended, inhale, slowly rise. Keep a micro bend in the knees. And drag the hands all the way up, straight back up to the heavens. Star pose. Pivot your left toe, your back, and warrior 2. Windmill the hands down. Coming into your lunge, relaxing that right knee to the earth. Holding here, and then hands floating up. Grabbing opposite elbows, shifting forward and back. Forward and back. You're pulping through the hips now. We've done quite a bit with the hamstrings. Pulping and back. Slowly lower the hands. And heel toe your left foot out. Step it back. Tabletop. Shift forward into a modified plank. Hips forward, shoulders stacked over your wrists. Lower for 3, for 2, for 1. On the inhale, rise with your chin, chest, and heart lifting at the same level for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower for 3, for 2, for 1. This time, untuck your toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Little to no weight in your hands. Can you glide your eye gaze down so the back of the neck is long? You're using your core to rise. Exhale, chin kisses the mat. Inhale, tuck the toes and raise the heart chest, head, and belly at the same time for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, down dog. Hips come high. Deep inhale through the nostrils. Exhale out of the mouth, Iche. Right leg comes high. Exhale, lunge. Step it through. Drop your left heel down. Windmill the arms up and around. Warrior 2. Hands come to the womb. Pulse it out. Bending into your right knee, in and out. Try not to lock that knee out. Your groin is facing towards the long edge of the mat, not towards the shorter. Bending in and out, in and out. And then opening up, Warrior 2. Bending into your front right knee, arms opening wide. Keep the hand, left hand comes back to the womb, right hand on the sacrum, pull the tailbone down. Notice through that slight tuck, notice that extension and opening happening through the pelvis, through the hip flexors, and try to maintain that as you extend the arms. In Warrior 2, inhale here. Exhale, exalt. Left hand comes to the back side of the thigh, right hand extends up and over the head. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen out your right leg. Try not to lock out the knee, keep a micro bend. Inhale, both hands come high. Exhale, pivot your right toes in. You can pivot your left toes in a little bit more so you're a little bit more pigeon-toed, holding here. And then exhale, hands float and drag all the way down the legs into a wide-legged prasarita. Keep a micro bend in the knees. Protect the hamstrings, moving nice and slow. Inhale, drag the hands up along the thighs. Keep that micro bend as you rise. Protect the hamstrings and the low back. And then from here, hands drag along the torso, straight up through the head, and up into a star until you bloom it out into a Warrior 2. Windmill the hands down to frame your right foot. Pivot on the ball of your left toe and lower your left knee. Inhale, you drag everything up. Grab opposite elbows up and over the head and shift forward and back. Notice how I'm keeping my back left toe tucked to control, so to create more stability, more control in terms of how I'm moving my body. If I lose it, then I'm gonna really dump into my joints. So try to keep that toe tucked, and instead of shifting forward with your hips, use your right foot to really shift forward. Your hips and your foot. So that right glute is really engaged and is navigating you shifting forward. Keep the pelvis neutral to open up through the psoas, the front of the right hip. Heel toe this right foot out. And then exhale, lower the hands on the inside of your right foot. Heel toe it out, step it back into a tabletop. Shift your hips forward so you're in a modified plank, shoulders over the wrist. Exhale, lower for 3. Hug the elbows in for 2. Chin and chest kiss the mat for 1. Inhale, you rise for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, you lower for 3. Hug the elbows in for 2, for 1. This time untuck the toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Little to no weight in those hands. Eye gaze down. Exhale, chin kisses the mat. Inhale, chin, chest, and belly rise at the same time for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, tabletop to child's pose. Arms extending long. Option for a narrow or wide-legged child's pose. Do what supports you in creating some space for your belly and your chest, or supports tight hips. I'm going to keep my head elevated just to not plug my mic and drop my elbows. But you can drop your elbows as well and lower the head to the earth. Resting here. A few rounds of breath. Inhale, you rise, tabletop, hands and knees. Exhale, we'll find some hip circles. Glide your hips over to the left and extend them back to the left hip to the left heel. Right hip to the right heel. And wind it up. And then take it back. Right hip to the right heel. Left hip to the left heel. And wind it up. Just taking these circles. Inhale here. Exhale, take it over to the right. Right hip to the right heel. Left hip to the left heel. And then wind it up. Full circle. One more on this side. And exhale. Right hip to the right heel. Left hip to the left heel. And wind it up. Inhale here. Exhale. Left hip to the left heel. Right hip to the right heel. And wind it up. Inhale here. Exhale. Left hip to the left heel. Right hip to the right heel. And wind it up. One more of those. Inhale here. And exhale. Left hip to the left heel. Right hip to the right heel. And wind it up. And exhale. Go ahead and find some fluid hip circles. We also call these corkscrews, where you're winding through the head, through the hips, through the belly in one direction. And then take it to the opposite direction. Corkscrew through the head. And you're coming from a deep state of presence and embodiment and allowing yourself to feel safe. Exploring this movement. Inhale brings you back to neutral. And then exhale, go ahead and have a seat. On your mat, on your booty, you can extend your hands on the outside of your right thigh and then wrap the legs out and forward from the left side. Coming to sit on the legs here. Opening the legs nice and wide. You can shift the hands forward and then push forward, moving the booty meat out of the way and holding here. Hands come high and then rotate to the left. And then extend the hands towards the left leg. Holding here for a breath. And we're going to actually move through these side to side. Inhale. Exhale. Pivot. And extend. So once again, we're pulping. It's okay if your hands don't reach your feet. If they come to the shins, that's fine. Inhale. Keep your core engaged and find at the pivot when you turn towards that side, and then reach. Inhale, core engaged. Exhale, pivot and reach. Inhale, exhale, pivot and reach. Inhale, exhale, pivot, core engaged, and reach. Inhale, exhale, pivot, and lower the hands. And you can invite the knees back to center here. Extend and move the booty meat out of the way, arms come high. Inhale, reach the hands forward and just lower them wherever they go. Now the main thing is we want to reduce the concaveness happening through the spine. So Before you even progress, feel yourself kind of extend your tailbone back like you're in a cow pose. Same adjustment we did in your Warrior 2, where your hand was on your womb and on your sacrum. Feel yourself extend that tailbone back. Notice the heart get long, pack your shoulders down, and continue to extend the pelvis back as you find length. You have the option to use a strap here if you need to, or keep the hands on the shin and then bend through the elbows to descend forward, not through the spine. Inhale, release, drag the hands along the thighs. A lot of touching in this practice. And then slowly extend the hands back. Bend the knees, drag the toe in. Root the foot. And then invite your right foot onto your opposite knee. And then bend that left knee. Getting into the hips here, option to keep the shin stagnant, or you can rock left and right, and just embracing the sensation. Now when it comes to confidence, it's about feeling safe in the body and being present. So you notice what tends to interfere with a lot of confidence is when you're riddled with uncertainty. So when you feel a lot of self-doubt and uncertainty, noticing how can I cultivate more self-trust in my body? And what allows me to feel trusted and safe? The best way to do that is pleasure. So the reason why this practice is so supportive is you're really leaning into cultivating more pleasure in the moment. So you feel safer in your body. The safer you feel, the more you trust yourself, the confident you are with your decisions. So leaning into the pleasure, leaning into what feels good as a high value woman who gets to feel good all the time. Exhale, slowly extend and release the left leg. Lengthen out the right and shake out the knees. Then drag the left toe of the left leg. Root the left foot and switch sides. Left outer ankle comes onto the right knee and bend the right knee. Dorsiflexing the left foot, option to stay stagnant or to rock steady. Choose your own adventure. And breathing into sensation. Notice how pleasurable a stretch feels when you stop fighting it. When you move out of states of resistance. And slowly lengthen out the right leg, extend the left, shake out the knees. Come to sit up as you drag the hands forward, facing up to the heavens. In a giving and receiving notion, let's go back vertebra by vertebra. As soon as the back of the heart kisses the mat, hug those knees in, rocking left and right, left and right. Coming into our supine twist. Rock the knees over towards the right, stacking them here. Open the arms out wide.
like a half T. Right hand comes on the outside of the left leg, holding here for a breath. Inhale, brings you back to center. Hug the knees in and let the spine neutralize fully here. And then take it to the opposite side. Knees float and stack towards the left, arms open wide like a T. Left hand may come on the outside of the right knee, holding here. Inhale, brings it back to center. Hug everything in here. Rocking left and right. Extending the feet up to the heavens and the hands up to the heavens. No striving, keeping a soft bend in the elbows and the knees. Letting the hands and the feet hang heavy. Inhale here, exhale, bend the knees and invite the feet back to the earth one by one. Coming into your final resting posture, Shavasana, with the hands resting on the womb. Option to keep the knees bent or to extend the legs long if that feels safe for you. Option to keep the eyes open or to close the eyes if that feels safe for you. Finding a few rounds of breath to settle in and to viscerally acknowledge and thank the body, to cultivate that greater state of confidence, safety, and security. I invite you to add a little bit of gentle touch here, gently rubbing the thighs and the womb, the belly and the low belly, acknowledging through touch. Especially the areas of your body where you carry the most shame. And from here, Just taking a moment to settle in stillness, hands maybe still resting on the womb. And coming back to your breath. You know, for the sake of time, I'm going to leave you here, but I invite you to stay here in Shavasana for at least another 7 minutes. You've done your best. Now, leave the rest. Namaste. Well, the way you dress and the way you dance, and I really like to move it. You remind me